Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode or installment of Cleared and Connected. I'm Katie Keller. I'm the editorial communications manager with ClearanceJobs.com. And today I'm going to be joined by Brian from LaunchCode. They are one of the ClearanceJobs partners. So I'm excited to hear about or tell you guys what LaunchCode is and what they've been doing to handle COVID-19. So while we're waiting, these installments, we are doing them weekly. So we're going to be highlighting the ClearanceJobs partners. We're going to be highlighting some of the customers that we have. So if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll try to get to all of them if we have a few. So let me go ahead and invite Brian. Brian, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear and see me?
Excellent. Yes, I can. Thank you for joining us today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So if we could start, could you tell me a little bit and tell our viewers right now a little bit about LaunchCode and what you do there?
Sure. So LaunchCode's been around for about 7 years. We're coming up on our 7-year anniversary, so we're still kind of in that startup phase. And basically what we do is we are looking to fill the tech talent gap where companies all over the country, and we were started by Jim McKelvey, who co-founded Square, which had to move Square, the mobile payment system, to Silicon Valley because there's just not enough tech talent. So how do you grow more tech talent? Well, what you do is you look for people that just exhibit the elements of passion, drive, and aptitude. People that are really smart, work really hard, and have the ability to be successful. We don't care about previous traditional credentials. I don't care what you look like, where you come from, what degree you may or may not have. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to IT managers in St. Louis and around the country that say, you don't have to have a 4-year degree in computer science to be successful in technology. So what LaunchCode does is we look for people that have potential, passion, drive, aptitude. That's it. Comes in all shapes and sizes and a lot of different backgrounds. So we find those people, we educate them, and then we place them into jobs. And traditionally, we do it on an apprenticeship model, which is kind of like contract to hire. And then after several months, assuming everything is going well, the company converts them and makes them full-time. So I lead our talent solutions team, which interfaces with employer partners who then give us very specific requests on, okay, that's great, but we need this. And this could be any technology, type of candidate, like clearances. And then what we do is we recruit people, whether it's someone that we've already educated or somewhere else in the country, and we train them in whatever the company wants, and then we place them at that particular company. So that's kind of LaunchCode and talent solutions at a high level.
Excellent. Well, and that's so nice to hear because, I feel like a lot of folks who may be toying with, the option of entering a career in tech, they assume that you have to have a 4-year college degree or a 2-year even.
Sure. Well, that is not the case. Apple, Google, Square, some of the biggest companies have all taken off 4-year degrees as a requirement to be hired full-time. So if Apple and Google can do it, everybody should be doing it. And I can't say everyone has. The government is a little bit tricky, but most companies nowadays are starting to realize, and this is something LaunchCode champions, you don't have to have a 4-year degree in computer science. The managers that are actually the ones that are training these people and working with them head down in the code, they scream at the top of their lungs to all the people in talent acquisition that are saying, hey, in order to get folks come in, they have to have this degree, 4-year degree in computer science. That is not the case. If you are smart, if you work hard, and most importantly, you have to love it. If you do not love this, you're not going to want to work hard. But if you do, working hard will come natural. And, you figure it out along the way, and people are patient because that's how you grow. That's how you grow tech talent.
Sure. So if someone is interested in, going through one of the, well, actually, let's first talk about, because I know that LaunchCode has a few different tracks, if I remember correctly. So why don't we go over those next?
Sure. So LC 101 is our primary flagship course, and that is normally in normal times run in person, obviously because of COVID-19 and just everything the world is going through right now. Everything is virtual. So it's primarily based in St. Louis. We do also run that in Kansas City. And LC 101 is traditional elements of software development and web development, Java, JavaScript, SQL, C#, a lot of very marketable tools to build software and develop web applications, HTML, CSS. And we do that because those are the skills that employers mostly need. So you'll be very marketable if you have those skills. So that's what we run primarily. In St. Louis, we also have a program called Coder Girl, which obviously to its name speaks to get more women into technology. And there we have more dedicated skill tracks. In addition to software and web development, there's also data analysis, data science, UI, UX, so a lot of graphic design there, SQL. We have a mobile track as well for mobile development, Salesforce, a lot of Salesforce development that's taking place, so we do that. So those are, and then we have what's called Code Camp. It's really LC 101 full-time. So most of those classes, LC 101, Coder Girl, those are part-time, because again, we're trying to attract people that anybody can take it. And if you open up the pipeline to people that are, just passion, drive, and aptitude, and I don't care what else, you're going to get a lot of people that are trying to change careers, late 20s, mid 30s, 40s. And we don't think it's fair that you should have to quit your job and pay $15,000 to take this full-time class. So that's why most of them are part-time. And by the way, LaunchCode is a nonprofit, 100% free. So that's why most of the classes are part-time. So you can do the job that you're trying to get away from, whatever that is, and take LaunchCode at night. We do have a full-time track because some people are able to take it full-time. So we call that Code Camp, but that is the same curriculum as LC 101, software and web development. Then we also have specialty tracks like the team that I lead, Talent Solutions, when a company comes to us, let's say Microsoft, and says, hey, we need, people that have these top secret security clearances, and we need them to know Azure. We need them to know cloud deployment. So then we will run a special class that is just for that company. So we've run countless classes in that element: mainframe, COBOL, Pegasystems, ServiceNow, RPG, DevOps, geospatial intelligence, cloud, AWS, Azure. We've done a lot of agile work, Scrum Masters and product owners too. So we have pretty much anything under the technology umbrella. We've taught a class in it.
Sure, you guys have a ton going on, and it's nice to hear almost like a custom menu, whether it be, for candidates or for going through these code camps, or for, companies that might, need placement. So when it comes to, you did mention government and, security clearances, what does the placement look like there for folks who might be looking to go through different tracks?
Sure. So that really started from, I would say, Booz Allen Hamilton, which is one of the biggest government consulting firms. And there's a senior leader at Booz Allen Hamilton that really wanted to find a way to work with us. And they couldn't find a way to do it from an uncleared standpoint. Everything was classified. And the average person that comes to us to go through LC 101 does not have a security clearance. I mean, just the average person out there in the United States doesn't have one. So what we decided to do was put together this program. And what we've done is we've gone out and recruited people within a specific area. We started in Tampa and then went to the Washington, D.C., Central Maryland area around Fort Meade. And we just looked for people that were transitioning out of the military. So we started with MacDill Air Force Base and then went to Fort Meade and looked for people, again, passion, drive, aptitude. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for, again, people come transitioning out of the military. So we love to help veterans anyway. Have to have, naturally, if you're transitioning out of the military, you're going to have those active security clearances. So take the people with the clearance that also have the potential, and then we give them the skills and place them at the company. So we ran 2 iterations of that particular course, which the class itself was LC 101 for Booz Allen Hamilton. We did that twice. And right now we are doing a class for Microsoft. Also in that Fort Meade area where we recruited 30 people that were transitioning out of the military. again, passion, drive, and aptitude, no experience with software development or being a site reliability engineer, which is what they're going to do. Didn't have to work in Azure before, and they are currently going through that class right now with a contingent job offer. So those classes are a little bit different because the class is so long to be able to learn a lot of that stuff from nothing, which is what Booz Allen and Microsoft wanted them to have. And a lot of people coming out of the military, some of them are making decent money. So starting off in an hourly rate for an apprenticeship is going to be tricky. So what we've done with Booz Allen and Microsoft is the interview beforehand is really an interview for a full-time job. And they were given full-time offers contingent on completing the class. So if you drop the class, then that's akin to basically quitting the job. And all you have to do is finish the class and, of course, keep your clearance, and then you go on to work full-time at that company. So Booz Allen did that with up to 30 people. In addition to that, Microsoft, like I said, has 30 right now. So every time we run one of those courses where a company comes to us saying, hey, we want to do this, we promote, that we're looking for talent. And I think because of COVID, generally, this Microsoft class has had to go virtual. And one thing we're realizing is, wow, if we can do this virtually, because we're not used to doing classes like that, we've been able to recruit from around the country. So you won't necessarily have to be in that particular city. Now, you may have to move there eventually, so you may have to be open for relocation. But at the end of the day, if you have a clearance and you're motivated and you're passionate and you want to be a part of this, there will be a spot for you. We'll find a way to make it happen.
Sure. Well, and I know last time I spoke with LaunchCode, one of the pillars, so to speak, was, learning remotely is obviously has its challenges. So you guys like to do, these classes and camps in person. So, kind of to elaborate, how has, LaunchCode been handling COVID and it's the.
Yeah, we've had to take all of our education in virtual, which is like every other university boot camp, and everybody else out there has had to do everything virtually, and it's been a challenge. I won't say that it's been easy, but the thing that I love most about LaunchCode is if you want it, if you are passionate, if there's nothing that's going to stop you from achieving your dream, a little inconvenience of having to take a class from your home sitting in front of a computer is not going to stop you. Sure. And that's what we tell companies. Is it a little bit more challenging? Yes. Have we had to rework some of the curriculum and extend some of the classes to give people more time? Yes. But I don't expect drop off or graduation rates to be any lower. I don't expect our placement rates to get people to the level that they need to be job ready to be any less. Because again, if you're passionate, if you're driven and you're smart and you really, really want this, you're going to figure it out. You're going to put in the work here. You're going to put in the work in person. It definitely has some challenges, not being able to sit next to a teaching assistant, while you're breaking off into small groups and working. But look, we're in the 21st century. There's, you can sit on here, on your phone or your computer, and you can, Skype with somebody. You can FaceTime with them. You can call them. You can share screens. There's a lot of different ways to learn, and we're weaving our way through it. And like I said, this Microsoft class has gone incredibly well. I mean, everybody is still in it. That started just about the whole thing. Actually, the entire thing has been virtual because everything started to hit while we were recruiting for it. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah. Well, so other than those, requirements of being passionate and driven and smart or, willing to learn, are there any other requirements for folks that might be thinking about, joining up with code?
No. I mean, we try and we really try and make it as easy as possible. And, for a lot of these things that we've done, we were actually just doing an info session for a project that we're doing with Cigna and Express Scripts yesterday afternoon. And we had a previous apprentice who went through the process and get hired on full time come on, and he was telling about his experience. And when he originally found the job, he actually saw the posting on Craigslist. He thought it was a scam. He really did. He didn't even sign up for it. And then a month later, he ended up seeing that job posting, signed up again, and said, all right, I guess I'll give it a shot, because you're really telling me I've never done this before, and you're going to train me in something I don't know, get me a job, and I don't have to pay you anything? Really? It really sounds too good to be true. And I'm glad we got that feedback, because now as we recruit, we have to try and like play off on that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we really just want people to be successful. So, the one thing I would say is really follow us on social media. Follow us everywhere you can on our website. LaunchCode.org has a lot of great information there. Follow us on Instagram as well. And we try and put out all the opportunities that we have for our classes. So again, LC 101 and our general programs are, largely in St. Louis. We do operate in Kansas City as well. How things are going to look from a coach perspective of allowing people to take the class virtually and from around the country is, something that we're definitely going to look at. But we have companies all over the country that want to hire from us, and many of them are open to people that are not physically in that city right now that are willing to relocate. So being flexible is definitely helpful. Obviously people are, your followers are going to be all over the country, and it's hard to say that within the next 6 months we're going to have a project that's right in that city. But if you want it, and if you're flexible possible for being able to relocate, that would be helpful as well. But as far as a hard and fast requirement, if you're smart and you want it, we'll find a place for you.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So backing off of the relocation, before you joined, ClearanceJobs right now is going through this campaign for highlighting different cities across the country in case, you either live there and are looking for a cleared career, or if you want a change of scenery during the pandemic, I'm not sure. But we highlighted LaunchCode and St. Louis, and I've never been, so I did want to ask you, what are some, cool things to do around St. Louis if folks are toying with the idea of relocating right now?
Oh, I get to be a advocate for tourism in St. Louis. Outstanding. Well, I have lived my entire life in St. Louis, with the exception of a few years in college. It's home. It really is. St. Louis is an amazing place to raise a family. People that come here a lot of times don't leave. The Blues won the Stanley Cup. So, you have the St. Louis Blues there. It's a Cardinals town. It really and truly is. The St. Louis Cardinals are everything to everybody. Getting baseball back up and running is going to be a cool thing. Busch Stadium is iconic. There's Ballpark Village, which is right next to it. It's an entertainment district that's literally right next to Busch Stadium. It has the Cardinals Hall of Fame inside of there. The Arch, come on. You have the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, where Anheuser-Busch obviously started way back in the day. It's not owned locally anymore. It's owned by InBev, but it's still a huge thing. But there's, the Hill is kind of an old Italian neighborhood where there's a lot of history there as well. Soulard is very historic. There's a ton of history in St. Louis. It's, it's something that there's a little something for everybody. So.
Sure. Well, and so I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. So craft beer is so near and dear to my heart. And that's one of the things that we highlighted as well in the article. You guys have Anheuser-Busch, but, a couple other sort of local craft beer breweries. Is that right?
Yeah, there's craft beer. There's Schlafly Brewery that's there. There's definitely a lot of other breweries that exist here in St. Louis. And one of the Busch heirs actually has his own, I think it's Craftig, that he has here in St. Louis. So
very cool.
Definitely a lot of brew in St. Louis.
Excellent. So I did want to ask, are there any upcoming events or virtual class that you guys are seeking folks for? Are you guys kind of on hold right now when it comes to that?
Yeah. So, again, keep our, eye on social media and whatnot for upcoming classes. We run multiple LC 101s every single year in St. Louis. So I'm sure the next one will be, starting, relatively soon within the next few months. I don't have an exact date off the top of my head for that. And then as far as our employer, sponsored, classes that we have some that are, close to ramping up. So I don't have anything specifically to share right now, but we regularly are looking for people, specifically those with clearances, that we're going to need good talent for. So definitely follow us on social media and definitely apply and put your best foot forward.
Wonderful. Well, that's all I had for today. I really appreciate you joining me for this installment of Cleared and Connected. So everyone, check out LaunchCode. Again, social media, launchcode.org. it's so great that you guys are a nonprofit too. But I hope everyone has a great rest of their Wednesday.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.